Whoa, what's going on, everybody? This has been a long time coming, and I'm so freaking happy to introduce to you the legend, the myth, the council member, Vetemor. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be on.
Thank you so much for coming on. And we'll start right off with the most obvious question, land. I heard you went... I heard you thought about getting a tier 1, maybe it was a tier 2, and then I heard you aped into a tier 3. Is that right?
Yeah, so I was considering either not buying land or just buying a tier 1. And then I saw the amount of SILV I had and I was like, oh, wow, I might be able to get a tier 3 here. And then the moment I was able to, I was like, I've even got enough left over to get a tier 1 after that. So I aped in, got a tier 3 and a tier 1, and honestly, really glad I did because I got some pretty cool element sites on it. I like FOMO hit in, you know, when you're live streaming multiple times a day on the live stream, and you just keep watching it, and you're like, I could buy this. I have a SILV2 that wants to be spent.
Definitely. You're looking at the numbers go down, and you're like, all right, I'm ready to pull the trigger. And then you pull it and you fail, and you have another hour to build up that FOMO again. Like, I mean, it's a great system. It has been working out so good. But if you like do it constantly, like 24-hour streams, like some madmans do or stuff like this, it must be insane.
Big shout out, big respect to Scoriox for that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was respect for that. Yeah, I bought some tier 1s just to lower my FOMO a little bit, and now I'm trying to maybe snipe a tier 2 or maybe a tier 3. Let's see.
Good luck.
Yeah. So you have 2 already. Are you gonna be playing both yourself, or how you think you're gonna do that?
So I'll probably just play both myself. So I have nothing against scholars. I think scholars are a great thing. But like personally, I'd rather not use a scholar if I can help it. I think it's an inefficiency. If I was like a guild and I was buying tons of land, like you need scholars, you know, that's clear. But for a like private investor that isn't gonna have like tons of like separate plots of land, I think it's just inefficient to give away any kind of serious percentage of my yield. Like if I wanted to give away percentage of my yield, like why when like if I wasn't gonna play on them myself, I would have just bought SLP and staked it, because that's just even completely yeah. But that's just my
that's true
thing.
That's definitely true. Yeah, I thought about like buying a lot of tier 1s and then giving them all out and making like an NFT farm, because tier 1s is kind of the most productive on NFTs. But yeah, it seems like you're giving away so much percentage.
You mean productive in the sense of like getting the blueprints?
Yeah, right. Because there is not so much buildings in the way, and I think the further it is away from any buildings, the higher is the probability that Illuvial will run across and will be scanned.
I did not know this.
And also all of the lands can scan. So yeah, I think that was a thing. I don't know if it's still like this. It was like a few weeks ago people talked about it, and I picked it up. And
the other argument I've heard is that the higher your tier, the quicker you can be earning blueprints, purely because like you have more resources, you have more energy. Geez, I keep forgetting the like.
Yeah, they're hard to remember. All the resources. Let's call it like that.
Yeah, you have more resources in order to build everything up so that you can be earning those blueprints.
Yeah, that makes sense, because otherwise it would be kind of unfair if a tier 1 would scan fast as a tier 4.
I mean, apparently they're the same. Like, they're technically the same. I didn't know the thing about like just being far away from a building. Although I guess in most tier 2s, 3s, and 4s, there'll still be like a patch of area of that particular thing where you can put the thing that scans for them a bit more out of the way from everything else. Maybe that's the strategy there. There's gonna be a lot to consider that like we're just not even considering right now. Yeah
definitely. So the two things you can get from the land, essentially the two things that will be worth a lot, is fuel and NFTs. If you could get an NFT of any Illuvitar, which would it be? Which would your favorite be?
See, this is the thing, right? I don't have a favorite like per se, and
not even the dash from your logo.
Maybe I have a favorite Illuvial, but the thing about these skins is that they're not literally that Illuvial, right? So
yeah.
I don't like, a lot of people are like literally picking which region they want their land on because they're hoping for a specific type of blueprint. And like from my end, my strategy was I'm just going to get the cheapest region there is, because the truth is nobody knows what people are actually going to have a large demand for once the game comes out and you can actually use these blueprints properly and actually have these different armors and cosmetic skins. Like, who knows what's going to be the most popular one? You just can't tell. Maybe it's a fire one because there's like ram fire one and you've got like fire coming off you, or maybe it's something completely different and it's like an Adorius one, and Adorius is like a deer, but it's also kind of like a unicorn. It's like a double unicorn. So maybe you get a unicorn hat or something like that. Will be cool. You know, maybe the Adorius one is the most popular one and people are avoiding the nature because they're like, oh, nature's kind of boring. But yeah, like a unicorn helmet, guys, it might be the best thing. Like, so you just don't know which one ends up being actually the most popular. It's kind of just all speculation until it isn't. So yeah,
that makes absolute sense. I was too much focused on like the Illuvium Illuvial in my head.
Yeah,
that's another one I have a hard time, like Illuvitar, Illuvium.
There's a lot of Illuvi. Yeah,
illumination.
exactly.
I didn't make it better with that. So yeah, Illuvitars. So I want to save some SLV for that. That's why I'm not using all my SLV, because I want to have some for the Illuvitars that's coming up. That's the next big thing that's coming up. And also want to save from the main game. And I know you love Illuvitars, and I was wondering, is your strategy still on getting a ton of them, or how is it going with that?
So in all honesty, I have right now I have exactly 3 SILV left, and I just promised on my last stream that next time I stream I'm gonna FOMO into another tier 1 just to do it on camera. So I'm about to have no SILV left. However, what I'm gonna do my best and do is maybe just liquidate my entire like step-in portfolio, literally, because that's been kind of going down, and I'm like, do I really want to stay? Do I want to risk it? I've been enjoying it for my mental and physical health because I get to go out for a walk for an hour every day. But I'm like, could I just go for an hour every day anyway? And I can just buy a bunch of SILV, and I do want to go as hard as I can into Illuvitars. If I can put 1, 2, 3K into it, I'll be more than chuffed. Because it's not even purely the like speculation on trying to like flip it or whatever later. I kind of just think they actually look damn cool, you know?
Yeah.
If I can, I maybe want to buy a bunch of like the cheapest possible Illuvitar option, which is, I believe, I don't know if that's changed because that pricing was like ages ago, but at 0.05 ETH is the like lowest one, but you can buy the highest one for like 2 ETH. But if you buy that 2 ETH one, right, there's a chance that you get like the least rare Illuvitar in the game. Still, you still got a chance. So it could go really wrong, right? But you could get the rarest, like a tier 5. I think you still only get like a 35% chance of getting a tier 5 one on the 2 ETH box or something like that. Or So it's still actually super rare. And it's like, I'd be tempted to open one of those boxes on stream. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Is it going to be worth it? We can only wait and see. Will
Dude,
I buy a second keyboard just in case? I might buy a second keyboard just to break if I need to.
Yeah, man. It sounds like a situation.
I'm literally gonna pull away and break it straight on my floor because I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed if it goes totally tits up.
That sounds like a situation where you buy a T4 right now in the land sale, and then the how's it called? The monument is not connected.
The landmark isn't connected to anything. So somebody just messaged me about that, and they were like, "Oh, I just bought a tier 4. I've only got like one of the thing it's connected to. What am I gonna do?" And
Red keyboards.
Realized recently though that I don't know if this is like 100% true, but to my knowledge, if you have a mega city, what happens is all the landmarks are shared. So let's say I've got a mega city that does I don't know, Solon, or that. Let's say I've got a tier 4 land that has like a Krypton thing, but I have 0 Krypton on it, right? Fuel sites. But then around it, there's just like 3 other plots, and on those plots, if there's a bunch of Krypton on one of the other ones, you still boost that one, those fuel sites. So this is not confirmed, but it kind of makes sense. So maybe that's one way that it isn't the end of the world. The other thing is, if you've just been buying tier 1s and 2s, you have a lot less risk of your landmark not matching because you don't have a landmark. I also found out that if you've only got like certain fuel sites or certain, especially with the element sites, I've heard that if you've only got like one of the element sites, you can always trade one of the elements for another element. The issue with trading is that you're going to lose like 10% of the value. So it's just slightly more inefficient, but like you're still making it. It still works, right? You can still trade between it, especially when it's just the element sites.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, which it might seem at the first moment.
Yeah.
No, it's not that bad.
I mean, it's still valuable. It's still a valuable land, even if it's a tier 4 that doesn't match up.
Definitely. And that it's still going to produce so much more than a tier 3. It's still where it needs to be.
You'll still be producing way more than any tier 3 every day of the week. Yeah. You said you brought up smashing keyboards, and I want to pull up a question that I had for later. I always wanted to ask you, how did you get the idea to smash a guitar for a smash the like button video on your YouTube? That was like one of the first things I saw from you, and it was hilarious, dude. I literally, the way I got the idea is that the room back then, I lived in a different place, and I literally like had a guitar, and I think my mom had given it to me like 2 years ago or whatever, and we just kept it, and we always meant to sell it on eBay, but we just didn't. It's just one of those things that lays around. I don't usually have anything in my house that just lays around. We throw away anything we're not using. Well, I like to keep things efficient and minimalist so that we got like nice open spaces in every room. But for some reason, this guitar was still hanging around, and I was one day just making a video, and it's in the same room as me, and I'm looking across, and I'm like, I could destroy you. Just that was what I felt, and I was like, I could just go into the parking lot right now. I think I actually filmed the video with Santiago, like the interview, and I was just like editing it together. And I was like, how do I add in a smash the like, but make it a bit more interesting? Saw the guitar, and I just went out and I just did it. I literally got my tripod, I got my camera, set it up. I looked around, no one's looking, and I just started smashing away at the damn thing, and it hit me in the face. I had a cut. I didn't even realize I had a cut. I didn't even realize. And then I got home and I kind of tasted blood in my mouth a little bit. I was like, why? And I look in the mirror and it was like bleed. Because at first it like, you know, a cut, like it almost you can't see it. And then it slowly blood starts coming out. And like, it was probably like 2 minutes until I got inside. And then by the time I'm looking in the mirror, it's like coming down my face. I'm like, oh shit, this is going to look terrible. And like, I don't know how, but like a few days later, like you couldn't even see it anymore, but it was hilarious. It was jokes. My wife didn't even know. She came home and I was like, look what happened. You got to watch this video. You're going to laugh. You're going to love it. She was laughing her face off.
What happened to you? You should see the other guitar.
Exactly.
That's hilarious, man. That's so good. Man, I love what you said about being minimalistic. You can really see it very well on our streams, how you got nothing in your room and I got way too much stuff around there. And it's just, yeah, I need to take your example and destroy something that's been looking at me judgmental.
I'm a big like what's the word, like supporter of throwing shit away, because I don't have almost anything left from my childhood. I like to be not sentimental. Like people like to have these big houses full of stuff, and it's like I've been to some rich people's houses and I'm like, you guys are living like animals here. Like there's no room to like breathe. Like you've got these big sofas, these big things. I'm like if you just made it more simple, you'd have nice open spaces, and the actual environment that you live in makes you feel more alive and more spacious and more free, which I think that's the point of like wherever you live, wherever you go, you can make it to better serve ultimately your life goals and purposes, right?
Definitely.
But then also like, it's harder to do if you've got a small living place. We've got a little bit more space here than we used to. So we were starting to feel a bit claustrophobic in our last apartment, because when you've got a small space, you've got to make do with what you've got. So obviously like it is what it is. I have nothing wrong with like also my own house right now. If you looked around it, it's actually, the rest of it's kind of dirty just because we've had a guest for like 2 weeks and then he missed his flight because he literally got a flu, so he's had to stay for an extra week, and then we've all like, had a cold at the same time. So it looks like we've all just been, it's like 3 people all staying in the same place and coughing, and so it's kind of not clean. But like, as long as you clean your place once a week, and most of the time it looks minimalist, that's all good with me. I've also got a bumper sticker on my car that says like "Clean your room, Bucko."
No way. That's good.
Shout out to Jordan Peterson right there. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Nice one. Yeah, I'm gonna move in my camper van very soon, and I'm gonna be trying to stream from my camper van, and there it's all about having no space and bringing nothing. My girlfriend is like, I'm watching you. You're not bringing any of your shit in there. It's gonna stay nice. It's gonna stay nice and cozy and not full of shit.
Really cool. What made you decide to
Man,
do that?
I enjoyed it so much. I've been doing it the last 2 summers, and when I was in Canada, I was just like surfing, and because COVID happened and everything, so I was just going out to living in the van, living on the logging road, like far away from civilization, and it was the best time ever. So I need to reproduce that. So as soon as I came back to Europe, got the camper van, and yeah, I hope it. Like I put on solar panels and batteries and everything, and I hope it works out with streaming. And we'll see. Well, all right.
Good luck with that. That sounds dope, though. Just
now I'm interviewing you, and yeah. Well, and a woman. Yeah, my girl is coming with me.
It's better that way.
Yeah, definitely. So coming back to my guest, which is you, talking about our women in our life. I was wondering, talking about crypto and all that stuff, how do you deal with that with your wife? Because the first time I bought an NFT was an Eve lizard, and I almost got my head chopped off for buying $500. That picture, which didn't even look that good, she said. And then I sold it for a lot more, and suddenly she was happy, but it was hard.
I love the way that you started that. just like being in crypto, how the fuck do you deal with your wife? That's actually hilarious. That's hilarious. That's why so many people in crypto talk about like I'm trying to get wife changing wealth. That's jokes. That's actually jokes. But
or with your partner. Nothing like I really don't want to sound sexist. It's just
no. I totally get it.
hard.
Totally get it. Personally, in my own relationship, I could not have done any of what I've done without my wife. She's been ridiculously supportive, probably more than any human should be. So it's been. Is it lagging?
It was lagging. We're back. It's all good. Sorry, I was
We're
like
back.
FOMOing there. Yeah, we're good.
Cool. So yeah, my wife's just been super supportive, and I just couldn't have done any of this without her, like whatsoever. She technically told me about crypto because like somebody at work told her like when the dip was happening last year, I think around like May, and they were like, yo, you got to buy the dip. She came home with like £300 worth of crypto, told me about it. I kind of knew about crypto already, but just hadn't really gone into it. She's constantly like, I remember she kept telling me about different NFT projects and stuff because she was just like researching loads of different stuff. Yeah, that was fun. Like once I found Illuvium, she kept like showing me different NFT projects, and I was always like, but this isn't Illuvium. And it looks like shit because most of them do. But like, she definitely gets it. As with anything like that, though, she's also like, she's supportive, but also we're trying to build a life together. So you also have to like manage risk, especially with like crypto and stuff. So like we still do our best to like invest in things that we believe in. We not do too many degen bets, especially not ones at the size that you maybe can't afford. And to me, like a relationship is just all about communication. If you communicate clearly and just don't get upset with your partner, I think you can usually make anything work as long as you're both wanting the best for a relationship. But I do understand that
Definitely.
just generally, most people that aren't in crypto don't get crypto. It's not about like, oh, she's a woman or a wife and that's why she doesn't get it. I think it's just people that aren't in crypto every day and don't get the culture. It's very hard to understand what the hell it is we're doing. And when we understand that what we're building is something that in the future people still won't understand. Like, I actually don't think people are going to understand crypto in 20 years. The reason they're not going to is because crypto going mainstream doesn't mean everyone understanding crypto. Crypto going mainstream actually means crypto being under the hood of everything that is the financial structures. But your grandma, like your granddad, they're not gonna know how to. They're not gonna know how it works. They get their card and they pay. You know, like it's gonna be integrated in their lives. Like people don't know how banking works. People don't know how the financial system works. You know, if you're like a banker and then you're making these investments, but you live with somebody and are a partner with somebody that totally has no idea what you're doing and has grown up with just a different mindset, it is just like difficult to sort of like translate that. And I believe that takes communication. And also there's some of us guys in the crypto space that are just too risky and too degen, you know? And honestly, like if I was a girlfriend or a wife or someone like that, I wouldn't be supportive, because like if you're living in your mom's basement, but you have like 100K worth of NFTs, maybe you should sell some of them and actually like fucking sort yourself out, stand up straight and go to the gym, you know? Like
or
you know?
step in and
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like what you said about the mainstream. It's like owning a car. Like suddenly everybody owns a car, but nobody's a mechanic. Nobody knows what's going on under the hood.
Exactly.
Like, I never heard that before, and it makes so much sense. Like it definitely.
So we don't
That's
need
awesome.
to convert the world to become like us. That's not what we need to do. We just need to infiltrate the world.
Yeah, the Illuvium cult, especially. That's awesome. Yeah, and I just wanted to also like highlight that I couldn't do any of my YouTube thing that I'm trying to do here. Like I'm really trying to do it as a job, and I couldn't do it without my girlfriend. And she's like, I had for the land sale video, I was like skipping nights of sleep and just like she brought me food and just supported me. I couldn't do it without her. And she's like, communication, like you say, is the most important part. To be really open and say what's up. Otherwise, it doesn't work, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So I heard you're a council member. You excited about that?
Well, I'm a council member again, so like I don't feel like things have changed, but it is exciting to be a council member on the very first 6-month epoch, which is crazy. And I also think that this is potentially one of the most key epochs that we're ever going to see, just because of how much like the land sale now is happening in this epoch. We're going to get Illuvitar sales. We're going to get pre-open beta. We're going to get the main game. We're going to get everything within the next 6 months, I believe. Yeah. So it's a hype one. It is hype. It just is hype. Yeah.
I feel the hype. Yeah, that's amazing. That's so good, man. That's gonna be amazing. So yeah, and it was such a tight race for the council as well. Like it was just by a matter of inches. I feel like
honestly, we've never had such a tight vote. Like most of the way through, like between first place and 6th place, there was like almost no vote difference, which is mad.
Yeah. A quick question. What do you think about that? That you're able to change your vote after you're given it. You think that's okay? You think it's not so good?
So honestly, we've been chatting a lot about this. We've mentioned it to other we were chatting about it with other nominees. I think we spoke about it in IIP discussions. Like personally, I have nothing against changing your votes, but I think blind voting is something that needs to happen, because the way that voting works now, because you can see everyone else's votes and who they voted for, it actually influences who you're going to vote for. So when you see these 8 people have the most votes, but the person I want to vote for is in 9th place, you're much more likely to just look at that and be like, I'm not going to vote for them because my vote's probably not going to get them in. And then several people say that, and then suddenly voter manipulation is taking place. And then especially at the very end of voting, what happens is everyone starts moving their wallets in between different people, because you can keep just changing your votes. And that's why people are highlighting changing the votes as the issue. I don't think changing your votes is the issue. If you just couldn't see how many votes people have, I think you should be able to vote for someone. The reason that changing your votes is then useful is that, let's say I vote for X, but then I find out that Y actually might be a better council member. You change your mind. I think there's nothing wrong with changing your mind. It's just that right now, people don't just change their votes because they change their mind, but actually they're trying to rearrange votes and ultimately change the course of the council. And that actually puts more power in like whale wallets than it should do, and it allows a level of manipulation and coordination that actually just isn't possible if you have blind voting. So I believe voting should be done blind, and I also believe that before this epoch is over, we're never going to see a non-blind vote again, because multiple of us, but like on the council, also agree with this, I believe. Obviously, in this epoch, we're also going to see governance 2.0 coming through. So we're going to see a bunch of reworking to governance. This isn't happening like in the next month, but by the end, it will have happened, so that not only are elections just more smooth altogether, also now that we have a 6-month epoch, we can have a longer period of nominations and interviews, so that the community actually have the time to sort of take those in. At the moment, like we have nominations for like a week, and then like there's like a 3-4 day break or whatever, and then we're voting. And it's like, if you're not one of the people that are in the community every day and spend hours on Illuvium, which not everyone is. Like, people live their lives, right? I don't live my life. My life is Illuvium plus my life, right? So, but not everyone is like that, and I don't want to require every community member and every ILV holder to have. They shouldn't have to do that. They should clearly just every 6 months. I think it's reasonable to ask them to engage for about 10 hours worth of, listening to a few interviews and stuff. Maybe not even 10 hours might be even too much. So potentially keeping it like somewhat short interviews, making like voters, like the nominations a bit more clear, a bit more integrated with the Illuvium website. Because at the moment, it's all kind of like, this is on Discord, this is on this YouTube channel. Like it's a little bit more all over the place, and it takes a lot more work for you to actually find out who are the nominees that are running and things like this, which I would like to see cleaned up for sure. As well as, the governance thing on the website, where proposals will be super, like, way more clean to get sentiment about. But yeah,
that makes sense. Like, there is 1 week, like you say, and TSG is having the most stressful week of his life every time again. He's like running down those interviews as fast as possible. Almost don't have time to watch them if they're not like full-time degens. So yeah, that makes definitely sense to give people more time, bigger time frame for all of that. But it's amazing to hear that all of this gets even more reworked and more improved, because it has been so good already. Like, always when there was something in the community, like something that grinded our gears, pretty much like the next week it was on the table, it was discussed, it was most of the time changed if it was a good change. So I'm really stoked that this is even getting better. Like,
yeah, I've heard a few criticisms of. Wait, is it lagging?
Wow, I'm having a hanger. All right, we're back. I'm sorry. It has been really good so far, but my connection is really bad right now.
No, that's
but
fine.
We got all the important parts so far.
Yeah, I know exactly where to continue from.
About the council?
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that, like, as you said, things are actually pretty smooth as is. And like, if something gets proposed, or like ideas are proposed by the community, like, discussion happens, things are almost no proposal that has come through hasn't been changed at least somewhat by the community, like debating through it, because these proposals, they're being proposed by somebody, but then the community is like 1,000 people that can all look at it from different angles and find different issues with it that might make it not work. So if we can all peer review like something, then it ends up being more complete, right? And I do sometimes hear an argument from some people of like, like people like don't have a say and stuff like this. But like, most often that argument comes from somebody that proposes an idea, and then a bunch of people in the community don't like that idea, and they're like, oh, the governance doesn't work because my idea isn't getting voted in. But not everyone's idea is always going to be accepted. And the majority of the time, the thing to understand about governance as well is, if you're going to make a change in any system, like the new change doesn't need to just be better than the current system. It needs to be enough better that it's worth the energy it takes to make the change. And often, like, there's like, we can make a million suggestions, but we only have so many hours in a day to execute changes, and only so many hours to also deal with the systems. So we actually need to keep systems somewhat stable and not constantly change everything, because changing anything requires time to adapt to the changed reality. So it needs to be worth making a change, and it needs to be so good and so no-brainer that then we make it. So not every change will go through, but when it comes to any proposals that do go through, damn, do they get refined by the community and everyone.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. It's really the Illuvium standard. Everything has to be premium, and that's one thing why we're here. Just the other day, I heard Andrew talk about like the ongoing topic of merchandise and when plushies, and he just said like, it's gonna come when there is a premium quality that can be delivered worldwide in like perfect. Otherwise, it's not being done. And that's something that is everywhere, even with like changes, like you say, in the DAO. Like once the outcome will be perfect, I guess then it's going to be done right away. And that's what we have been seeing.
Illuvium is premium
really cool.
from top to bottom. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah. Talking about Illuvium, I want to jump back quickly to something I wanted you to ask, because we talked like a few months ago and you said you was gonna save like 10 SLV or something, so you have enough to play the game once the main game comes out, so you have like enough funds to just play the game without worrying about the little payments all the time. So are you still on track with that? I know you're broke right now with SLV, but are you gonna move some stuff around?
I am right now broke with SILV, but I definitely want to have at least 10 SILV2 for the game launch. In my personal opinion, like right now, 10 SILV is like $1,800. Obviously that's a lot of money to have ready to play a game. Fair enough. But like if you have even a single SILV, you have a lot of playing power once the game comes out, especially if we see ILV price going up, especially with the hype of game launch and just generally throughout, right? So for me, it's a no-brainer to anyone to be stacking some SILV just for the game. I hear a lot of people saying, you know, I don't have a ton of money right now. I can't stake. I definitely can't afford land. Illuvitars, like, do I really need it? You know, fair enough. But what the problem that they're having is, I've actually come early to Illuvium, but because I don't have a lot of money, I don't feel like I'm getting any kind of advantage for the game. I'm just waiting, and then I'm going to be the same advantage as anybody else that's starting the game and finding out about it then. But I've been in the community for 6 months. Why don't I get some more advantage? And from my perspective, anyone coming right now that isn't like completely broke, if you've got a job and you're earning money, like you are in this space, I believe you should be able to save at least $50 to $100, at least that much per month. And you could just dollar cost average buying SILV bit by bit, just buying ETH and then like transferring it in, buying some SLV, stacking up your SLV. Even if you just manage to save up one SILV for the main game launch, like, I think that's just a great advantage for the game for when it comes out. Like, just not trying to time prices. Stop waiting for dips, guys. Just dollar cost average, you know? Obviously, none of this is like financial advice, but I think it's a no-brainer if you aren't like completely super broke and you can afford a few $100s to buy some SLV, just hold on to it. Forget about it until the game comes out. I think that's a great strategy. Technically, have I done that? Because like I've just spent it all on land. It's all gone. Yeah, fair enough. Practice what you preach, Vetemor. Come on. Why are you telling us to do shit you're not doing? The reason I'm doing that is because I know that I've got a few thousand that I can bang into SLV, and I'll manage to move things around. And honestly, I'm gonna do my best to move things around even like before Illuvitar sale. Get some ready for that, and then have some left over for just like. I don't want to worry about paying money for the game. And if you can afford it and you have 10 SILV for when the game launches, like right now, 10 SILV, if we just look at the current price of Illuvium, it's worth $2,690 within the game. And if, like, as most recently Kieran sort of been saying, we want the in-game transactions to be microtransactions, so maybe just buying fuel to travel and then buying shards and curing shards to catch the alluvials, like, you know, like Pokeballs, like that maybe costs like $5 in total, you know, or maybe even less for like the lower level, like traveling and shards. So like, if you've got like 2.9K, you could be catching potentially hundreds of alluvials with that money, right? You don't have to think about it for potentially months and just play the way you want to play, like any other game, and just have that money ready and then not be thinking about, oh, can I afford $10 here and there? You know, because it's like an investment. It's just like an investment. Obviously, I'm not saying you have to do this strategy. I'm not saying I'm a council member, do this. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm purely speculating right now. Like, maybe you buy the SILV and tomorrow, like, the market crashes and like you've decreased the value. Sure, that can also happen. There's risks in any strategy. Dollar cost average, just dollar cost average, or just save some dollars if you're really insecure about the crypto market or about the token unlock. Save some dollars and have it ready for when the game comes out, and then like nearer to the actual launch, buy some SRV. Like, whatever floats your boat, but just have some savings ready for the game.
Yeah, definitely. And this 10 SLV that I said, NFA. So the 10 SLV that I called out, that was just like an ideal scenario where you're going to be good for months or maybe years. Yeah. And even if you just have one SLV, like you said, you still might, like if you play kind of okay or good, you still might be able to make out of that one SLV, maybe 2 SLV. Who knows? Like, this is not something you have to like pay monthly and get nothing in return. You pay and get something in return. And
well, you if can't this make is gonna SILV, you'd make ETH, but yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, resources. Let's call it like that.
Yeah.
So you give money, you get back resources that are worth money again. The good old play to earn, and in this case, play and earn, because it's just an enjoyable game. It's microtransactions, and if you have a bid on the side, you're not going to be worrying about the money, and maybe you can just make money with it. So yeah, it's not. It's not that also big of a deal.
I want to say, like, if you can't get 10 SILV, like, don't be like, oh shit, I'm fucked. Like, you're not, because frankly, if you got 10 SILV or more purely for the game, you're going to be a whale within the game. You're literally going to be a whale within the game, because the average player will probably have like 50 or $100, right? And even 50 or $100 is good, because there's going to be a ton of players that aren't even starting with anything, that just come in and free to play. So wherever you are, like, I think the message of the day is just like, there's always going to be a bigger fish. Some people think I'm a whale. I think I'm a tiny fish compared to some of the whales in this protocol. There's always a bigger whale. There's always a bigger Leviathan. Like, don't be sad that you're where you are, because everyone has to start somewhere. Like, I wasn't here a year ago, guys. I was like living literally paycheck to paycheck, like most people. So, and I'm still not a huge whale. Like, I'm just not. Yeah. And the other thing is, like, what's your strategy for when the game comes out, right? Like, my strategy is to spend my SILV, capture as many alluvials as possible, but I don't want to be in a position where I have to sell alluvials to get some money to be able to play the game more. I want to just buy all the travel, all the everything I want to do, catch as many alluvials and not have to sell them, so that so I'm not selling them for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years or whatever. Like, if 5 years from now I still hold and own at least 50% of all of my original alluvials, I'll have been doing great, and I'll have been taking some profits along the way. But like, still holding at least 50% in like 3 to 5 years, that's where I'm looking. So I'm thinking long term. There's gonna be tons of people that start the game with $100, and 5 years later they've got like $100, because they kept trying to flip, they kept trying to be clever, outsmart the market. And there's gonna be tons of people that start with $100, that grind, put their head down, arse up, grind to the floor, and just like do not just flipping, but just putting the work in, collecting, and then 5 years later, maybe they have 100K, maybe they have, you know, whatever. Like, honestly, 100K is super ambitious for 5 years down the line, starting with $100. That's ridiculous. That's 1,000x. But if you put work in, you're not just flipping and making 1,000x, you're working. So your work plus investment is literally like the way, right? If you're just investing, it is harder to make profit than working plus investment. Because even if the work is just doing your own research, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Or your work is not FOMOing or not paper handing and just holding on.
Sometimes the best thing you can do is just wait.
Yeah, do nothing. Ignore it for a while. Like when I tried to get into trading, that was super stressful to see like the candles go up and down. You just gotta step aside for a bit. And yeah, if like you say, in 5 years, if you have like 5 little Atlas in your wallet sitting there and no more Atlas are gonna be minted, then you're gonna be a very happy person. Because we all know this project is going to the moon. No financial advice, but kinda. But no.
It's not even like moon. It's like, if this project does what it's supposed to, this will become one of the biggest gaming studios the world has ever seen. And it will be competing with the likes of not just Blizzard, not just Riot Games, but like Sony. And we're talking like console producing level, like big business of gaming, because it is the future, and there's a compelling story and there's a beautiful narrative within it. That, like, Aaron, he isn't just making a game here. He's making a legacy. This is a universe in and of itself. He's not just making like the full story in the first one and then maybe we'll like add on bits in future games or whatever. No, he's actually making the first game have a really like simple storyline, subtle, but also like hint at loads of other storylines. They've already written tons of storylines and created this universe. How much work they've done already. They're not trying to rush to market. They're trying to create something super quality and interwoven and super meta, honestly. And then when future games come, when the movies come, when everything comes, like, it becomes like the Pokemon universe. And the only reason we talk about Pokemon is so that people can comprehend the kind of thing that maybe is taking place here. But it's totally its own thing. And it's good. One day people are gonna be like, what if we can make anything even close to the Illuvium thing? But right now they don't understand the Illuvium thing. So we just have to compare it to Pokemon, even though it's a shit example, honestly.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna remember Pokemon in 20 years.
I think they might.
No, I'm joking.
Everyone in the everyone in the GameFi space, we're always gonna remember Axie for what it was, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
definitely.
we might remember Pokemon as well.
Yeah. The thing that brought us Illuvium. Because the Pokemon cards got lost.
This has been hype.
The founders.
This is hype.
Yeah. Man, it has been amazing. That was such a good talk with you, dude. Thank you so much for coming on.
If you have any more questions, feel free.
Yeah, I had one more. Like one or two, but one that I wanted to ask, I didn't think it would fit in, but let's give it a try, because Kieran and Grant, when they talk to each other, they like to swear. They just love it. And I love it that they do it. And I think everybody else does. But I think they got a bit of problem with marketing and everything, that, it's not kid friendly, even though we don't have many kids in the space, but still like parents are watching, like gamers are watching it with their little kids. And so I think I saw them stopping a bit with the swearing. And I was wondering if something in them is dying every time they have to hold back an outburst. So you think that takes away from authenticity? And
I honestly love the authenticity of the brothers. I think that's what,
like the best thing.
Initial investors, that's why we believe in them as much as we do, because they can talk to each other the way they normally would. They talk to us like they actually normally speak. They're not trying to be superficial or like seem a certain way. They're just being real, and that's really what it's all about. Have they stopped doing? Like, I don't think they've stopped doing that. I don't think so. I'm still witness to it occasionally. What's happening is they're busy working, and also they're trying to maybe keep the Twitter a little bit more professional. Sometimes, not all the time though. So, and end of the day, when it comes to like, oh, but like, what about mainstream or all the kids that might be coming into the space? How many kids, right, that play Fortnite watch the founders of Fortnite or even have any contact with the founders of Fortnite? Like 0%. Like, even the founder on Fortnite, if they're on Twitter and they're swearing, like, maybe that causes some kind of media thing, but like, I don't think anyone really cares enough, and especially not when they see our products. And at the end of the day, what we're creating here, it's not the founders, it's Illuvium. Like, it's its own thing, right?
Yeah.
Wait, is like your phone
1
ringing?
second, dude.
No worries, no worries.
So sorry, my alarm went off for my land sale that I want to buy.
No worries, bro. No worries.
A classic. But yeah, you're right. They
keep that in the interview, bro. That's what this is all about. Land sale alarms.
I need to get that city, man. I got like six alarms going on for the next 40 hours, and like one of the lands is coming at the very end of the land sale, and I'm a bit scared that the FOMO is gonna be big for some people. So, yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride till the end of this. It's so cool,
if you
man.
want me to leave you because you gotta buy that land, like, that's totally cool, bro.
No, it starts now. I got an hour. I have a few alarms so I don't miss it. I went really serious on that. I really want to have that.
I love those. I love the alarm backing up. I love the alarm backing up.
Just the first one. Yeah, I was just wondering because I tried in my YouTube to, like, I saw some comments from people like, oh, I can't watch it with my kids and so on. Of course, that's a super small niche. But after that, I subconsciously kind of tried to stop swearing. And I feel like that's taking away from what I usually would say and from my authenticity. So I think about bringing it back and just talking without caring about that. And like, I don't know, because like the audience is like 25 years plus. It's just,
it generally is. And I was on Scoriox's podcast, that 24-hour stream. Vulcan came on, and Vulcan shared some of his story because he's obviously a YouTuber before Illuvium. He has another channel, and he said that initially, like, because you watch if you actually watch like old school YouTube tutorials, they always say like, oh, don't swear, don't do certain things, and he's like, yeah, he started not swearing and all this stuff, and then slowly over time he realized like this is a load of shit. I'm gonna be for real here.
Yeah.
Like, some people don't swear. Like, some people actually they just don't swear often, or maybe they live with kids. Like, your environment kind of shapes you, but also like if you're the kind of person that just swears for impact, I actually have nothing against swearing personally, right? If we're in a like proper boardroom meeting, like, maybe we shouldn't swear, that's fair enough. But if we're expressing ourselves authentically, which is what content creation is all about, you don't fucking limit yourself. You do it the way that you would want to do it, and that's what it's all about. Like, I'm a council member. Am I also a human? Like, I can swear as well, I might start wearing suits. I like suits, but
yeah, dude, they're lit, man. We used to have like a suit up day. It probably came from How I Met Your Mother or whatever, and everybody getting in the suits and just going out. Everybody would look at you like, and you would feel so fucking shiny, man. Like,
just fully fly, innit?
Yeah, it feels really good. Some really good garment. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. Well,
this has been incredibly enjoyable, bro. Incredibly enjoyable.
Thank you so much for coming on. You're my first one. You took my interview virginity, and from now on, I'll
pop that cherry.
From now on, I can take on the world. That was amazing. And you have also been the first person I spoke to in the whole Illuvium community. Like, I was on some TFT stream, and suddenly the streamer says something like, "Why do people even play to earn? Like, do they even like the games?" And the other guy is like, "Nah, they just want the money." I was like, what are they talking about? And then like after 2 times Googling, I saw like Illuvium, and then that's it. I got stuck with it. And
so you literally found out about play to earn gaming because someone was hating about it.
Yeah. I was like, what? That sounds cool.
All
like
advertising is good advertising.
There you go. That's it.
Wait, did they say money? I love that.
It.
I love that.
Yeah. Then I came into the thing, and then the second thing I saw after you smashing the guitar is you interviewing, I don't know who it was, but I want to say Kieran. And by then I knew that he was a founder, and I was like, what the hell? Like, this is obviously an OG YouTuber, but he's still got only like, what was it, like 1,000, 2,000 followers? So that's insane that he's actually talking to a developer of a game. Like, how can that be possible? You don't have millions. How does that work? And that gave me like that dream that one day maybe I could do that. Maybe if I take in the time and work every day hard for years and years, maybe one day I'll get there, and I would be very proud of that. And I asked you when I wanted to try to do it, and you just called me right away. you did. I was like, shit. You just clicked that call button before anything, and yeah, you told me to just go for it and just do content. And
bro, you've been doing a freaking awesome job. I believe you have a interview with Kieran lined up, right?
Yeah, he after I won the competition, I asked him like it was a good time to use my leverage, and he said yes. So I'm super excited for that. Dreams come true, everybody, if you keep working hard.
How much did you get for the competition?
45 SLV too. So that was
GG, bro. GG. That's more than I had for this last sale. GG.
Yeah, it more than doubled. Like it put me in another category. I can still not believe it. Like it's not really real yet. But
we live in a crazy world. We live in a crazy Web3 world.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it has been real. And yeah, you've been the realest guy out there, the really OG content creator. Like you always the way you are, and like I think that's why everybody loves you so much in this community.
Well, I appreciate that, bro. I'm just out here trying to be myself and trying to do the best for everyone I can.
Yeah, it shows. It shows, man. That's awesome.
Well, definitely keep up the freaking awesome work, brother.
I will do, and I will call you on stage once again, and I'll see you hopefully soon.
I will heed that call.
Sweet. Thank you so much, man. Have a
Take
good
care,
one.
Brother.
And have fun FOMOing in that land. I'll try to sneak it away from you. Be quick.
Don't do that. Please don't do
that. All right. Hell yeah. That was so good. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you had some fun. I had such a blast doing this with Vetemor. He's a legend. And there's going to be so many more interviews coming up. I hope you liked it. And I see you in the next one. I wanted to mention something. All the lags that happened, my internet was trolling me today, so that wasn't on Vetemor's end. That was all me, and it's not gonna happen again. So don't worry about that. But I think we got everything. We didn't miss a lot. All right. See ya.